what in the world possessed you to come to CalArts, a school that didn't even really exist at the time you entered?
Yes. It really was sort of an ideal in search of an institution. I was all set to go to Columbia.
This was somewhat different.
Yes. No, seriously, I had been sort of courted by Columbia, and it was the place where you went for advanced music and electronic music and experimentation. And it was the cutting edge, right? But it was another one of my rock and roll buddies, Dennis Keeley, who was a marvelous photographer who still lives in the LA area, said, no, John, no, you're not. You're not going to Columbia. And I never listened to Dennis about anything. But for some reason, I knew, he said, no, you're going here. You're going to this new art school in California. For some reason, I knew that Dennis was right. And it made all the difference. I shudder to think what might have become of me, personally or musically, had I gone to Columbia.
I can tell you would have written a lot of severe pieces and ended up teaching at a university. How does that sound to you?
Gruesome.
we can play out.
I mean, I still write severe pieces. I just don't teach at a university.
Although, interestingly enough, you're now in demand to teach at
universities.
I
just finished a semester at Harvard, so what can I say?
So the joke's on you.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about sort of how CalArts opened musical frontiers for you. I came along I didn't formally go to CalArts, but I was, I think, a CalArts wannabe, and I just hung around CalArts a great deal in the 70s. It was a wild and woolly place.
It was indeed, and yeah, it was very heady. The faculty, just in composition, was Mel Powell. Mort Sabatnik was there. It was a proving grounds for the Buchla box electronic music system, and again, dumb luck. I just I happened to be given the name of my composition teacher, who was assigned to me, and I walked into the studio of James Tenney one fateful day in 1970 or 71, and again, I shudder to think what might have become of me had I not had the supreme good fortune to study with Jim, one of the great composers of the 20th century, and not nearly as widely recognized as he should be.
No, and we should take a moment for you to talk to us about him, because he's still sadly not widely known.
He was everywhere. He was as a kid, really, he was friends with Carl Ruggles, very close with Ruggles. He knew Varese. Tenney was the first, he was really a pioneer in computer music. He was the first composer in residence in the early 60s at Bell Labs in New Jersey. He wrote, composed a number of incredible, landmark pieces in the early 60s. You look at photographs of the Harry Partch Ensemble, and there's the young Jim Tenney standing up behind the quadrangularis reversum or whatever instrument he was playing. He played in Philip Glass's early ensembles. He played with Steve Reich. He played the Concord Sonata from memory. He was just one of the most brilliant people I've ever known.